Hi, everybody. Welcome.
Hello.
So I know this takes a second.
I feel like it has been forever.
Right?
Forever.
The three of us sat down. And I think because we've all just been so busy, too, that we're not really chatting as much, right? So, like, this is so much fun.
Hello, ladies.
And hello, everyone. Here. Of course. Yay.
Hi, Susan.
Welcome.
Oh, gosh.
Welcome.
I'm going
all
on
right.
mute.
So.
Nice. You need to tip that waiter.
Right?
He needs to tip me. He brought it to me to open.
He just needed it open.
All right.
I thought he was bringing you a drink.
He just uses me for what I can do for him.
Yep. I get it.
That's right. Training them.
How is everyone?
So welcome, everybody. I mean, I'm good. How about you guys? Life's just been, life.
Chloe, you sold your house?
Yeah, so we sold our house, and you guys, we move in 6 weeks, and we have nowhere to go, and I'm like acting like we're not moving. I've got
everything's fine. Everything's fine. Yeah,
everything. Still like buying in bulk, and I'm like, what are you doing? What are you doing? So yeah, that's happening. That's what this weekend I'm like, okay, it's a 3-day weekend. We're gonna at least like get cleaned up, if not start packing. At least get cleaned up, because I'm like, we haven't even told Ainsley that we're moving because we're like, we don't have anywhere to go. I don't know what we're, we might be moving into Nana and Papa's. I hope they're not watching me, but
what?
Yeah, I know, right? Cat's out of the bag, guys.
Well, at least we've made it past that hurdle of like selling the house.
Yep.
Yeah, and we had inspections and all that this week, and Jeremy and I were almost like, maybe it'll fall through. That's fine. That's like if it falls through, we're good. Well, they had all the inspections, and like we have a broken window, and they're like, it's fine, we'll fix it.
Wow. Yeah. Good.
Okay.
So that's exciting though. Well, hopefully by the time we talk again in a month, you'll be like, hey, we have a house.
I found a house.
Yeah.
If not, are there any couches open? Anybody got anything?
I got a
Come to Canada.
Yeah.
We'll
go to Canada. I'm coming.
Yeah. You'll be walking over the border with the kids and stuff.
That's right. Sorry.
So we're here to talk about Daughters of the Bride by Susan Mallory. And I think just before we came on, we were all saying we pretty much gave it about the same rating, correct?
Yeah.
Yep.
3.5-ish.
Is it a series or no?
The third in a series.
Okay.
Sarah, have you read the rest of the series?
No, but
I haven't either.
From reading this one though, I was not lost on anything.
Not at all. But I do want the other sisters' stories, and that's what I'm assuming the other books are.
First I looked. The first couple books are about. Was there not a character in here about something about the cakes? She made the cakes.
Okay.
She was one of the other books, so it's not about the sisters.
Oh, well then, I mean, I still would read it because Susan Mallory can't really write a bad book, but
yeah,
I want the other
that's
sisters.
What I would too, but I think that's what this one was at the end of the day. I mean, I liked it, 3.5 stars, but it wasn't my favorite by her.
Well, and I'm saying the other sisters because like I sort of feel like this was Courtney's stories, but really it is all of their stories. So I wish it would have been Courtney's story and only Courtney's story, and then we would have gotten the other ones.
Yeah. Because I think that's what the issue with this book is that it was definitely a contemporary romance. This was not a women's fiction as far as I'm concerned, but it just, because it still had those women fiction elements with, you're getting more than one character, you're getting a much like different plot line. You know what I mean? Like it was kind of, I don't know. I agree with you, Chloe. It would have been nice if it had just been one of the sister stories.
Mm-hmm. Who was your favorite?
Of the sisters?
Mm-hmm.
The one who was married.
Yeah.
Rachel.
Really?
Rachel? Yeah.
I think Rachel and was it Greg? Rachel and Greg.
Rachel and Greg. Yeah, they were my favorite.
I liked them.
You guys, Courtney made me laugh out loud. Like that never happens, and I literally laughed out loud because like, what was the guy's name? When We talked about the fact that we kind of read this a little bit ago, so names are a little blurry, but Quinn or something. What was his name? Quinn?
It was Quinn, yeah.
He said something and she just like was like, oh, erectile dysfunction. And I'm like, wait, what? Like, she's so awkward and funny that like I never expected things to come out of her mouth that did. And it made me laugh.
Oh no, I liked her as a character, but if I had to pick a plot, like which one of the sisters' plots was my favorite, it would have been the Rachel.
That's fair.
Yeah. She was kind of oh yeah. Okay. So if you've not read a Susan Mallory before, please do not make this your only one. Please, 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 please.
Yeah.
Go back and read Fool's Gold. Start it.
Yeah, my first was don't judge her based on this. Although I think it was good. I mean,
it was good.
I gave it 4 stars, but I said it's probably like a 3.5. I'm just being generous because I've been in such a bad mood that I'm like harsher on everything. I mean, a bad reading mood, not like a bad mood, but.
And then when Bree messaged me the other day and she's like, there's sex in this book. I'm like, yeah, there is.
Because y'all know, like, I read it literally this week. Like, I finished it yesterday. And y'all are like, I'm blanking on names. And I'm like, I finished it yesterday and I don't remember anybody's names. I know I like Rachel and Greg. And somebody's name was Sienna. I didn't like the mom. It was Maggie.
We gotta talk about the mom.
Like, it was a lot. So like, I don't hate wedding stories. I like wedding stories, but I think like just from like watching Hallmark, sometimes with wedding stories, they try to do too much and I get confused. And I think on one hand, if it's like a rom-com, that obnoxiousness can be great. But if it's like kind of serious, then it's hard for me to like keep everybody's stories and like, who am I following? Who's the bigger deal? But I mean, I think in the end, especially like Rachel and Greg's story, like really stood out to me and like kind of bumped it up a little bit. I just did not like the mom. Who was the sister that had the learning disability?
Courtney.
That was
Courtney. Yeah,
Courtney. I liked Courtney. I mean, there's a scene in here that like broke my heart. And I'm like, how do you as a mom, like, what is going on here? She's like, Mom, there's video footage. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what is going on here?
Yeah.
No, I mean, like you said, it was an interesting read, but I feel like there was like just way too much going on. But this is, the more I'm reading, I mean, I've read a lot of Susan Mallory, and I was just starting this week to read The Stepsisters, which is her newest release. And I actually had to DNF it for now, only because it's so similar in structure to this one. I couldn't do them back to back. I needed to give, so it's not a DNF. It's just, I just wasn't in the mood for it right now. You know what I mean?
So I have a question. Do you think, because it sounds like potentially I liked this more than you guys did. Do you think it's because I like women's fiction and like I like kind of that having a few different women and a few different stories, and I don't really care if their romance is great. I just want, why do you think that is? Or what do you think it was about this book that was not great for you?
I don't think that I think I'm in the middle of the road just because I just finished it. And it did take me a minute to like, who's who and who are we following? I don't think that it's a bad, I haven't read much Susan. What is it, California Sisters or something that came out a couple years ago? I think that was my first.
Sisters by Choice.
Sisters by, well, there was I feel like there was a California book, but it may be somebody else. But
California Girls.
California Girls. That's my first. I read Before Summer Ends by her like a month ago, and I really liked it. Like, I liked this one. And I think what I like the most is that it does bring up some really good points.
Oh, for sure.
About. Even on Goodreads, from people that read it years ago, they're like, this could be like a really good book club discussion.
Yeah. So Harissa, you're here and you told me that you had a lot to say about it and you didn't love it. Can you tell us why?
Please.
I didn't like, well, I mean, so Courtney, I think, was saying this herself and then her sister would correct her. So I thought talking about like the R word, I was really glad that her sister would be like, we don't say that anymore. I really liked that point. And then just the whole mother-daughter situation with
Yeah.
the mom and Courtney.
Yeah.
That was I really like the other storylines. I think when it's a book, if you don't read a lot, like you read a lot of that, Chloe, so you're good on it. For me, I'm like, who am I following? What's going on? There's a lot.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on for a book of its length, and I think she did this really well for the Mischief Bay series, which is about a 4-book series. But like, you have your first book where you have your 3 plot lines, very similar to this one, right? But then the second book continues to follow one of those plot lines and adds in another different plot line. So you felt like you got more of the story without trying to cram everything into one book, if that makes sense. So if you're looking for more Susan Mallory, The Girls of Mischief Bay is a really good one to start with.
Yeah, I would agree. I do feel like all 3 of them were distinct. I kind of feel like they were a little bit of like classic women's fiction characters, because we have the clumsy one, that's Courtney, that everybody kind of, like is like pulling to Courtney. Then we have Sienna, who's super flighty and does her own thing. And although I have stuff to talk about her. And then we have Rachel, the middle-aged woman who is got the weight management issues that, the insecurities that we all have, and all of that kind of stuff. So I feel like you kind of have the somewhat stereotypical women's fiction characters, but maybe because I have read so much of that, I'm like, okay, I got that person's character arc down, got that one's arc down, so for me, it was like, it wasn't quite as hard to keep them straight because they are somewhat stereotypical, I guess.
And this has kind of become her shtick, if you will, because like you said, Brie, the California Girls, about 3 sisters, Sisters by Choice, about 3 sisters, The Stepsisters is about 3 sisters. And these are all like every single year. So it's kind of, she knows what her readers want to read, right? And we're going to happily read them because they're good. But I just, like I was saying about the other one, I just couldn't read them back to back because it was just too similar.
Sure. Yeah, for sure.
Okay, I like this comment.
Is this the one too that you were saying it felt kind of like the Lemon Sisters by Jill Shalvis?
This one, no. That was the one by Rayanne Thane. Felt very much like the Lemon Sisters. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I like this. Everyone blaming Greg, or everybody blaming Rachel for not asking for help.
So I think that's why I didn't love Rachel's story as much as you guys maybe did, because dude's a cheater. Like, I don't care.
That's a hard pass for me.
Like, I don't care if he was young and like good. He's stepping up, being a good dad, being a good dude. You don't have to get back with him. He's doing what he's supposed to do. Like, where were you?
And it's not like he cheated at the beginning. It was like recent,
Yeah. So I liked Rachel, but I didn't like their relationship or their romance.
Okay, that's fair. What else have we got here?
What else? Harissa said, I didn't think everyone really understood why it was so rude and not okay to make all their maid comments. Agree.
Yeah.
And okay, I have a pet peeve, and I don't know if it's just me or not, but like, I think it's so dumb, so freaking dumb that everybody flipped out on Courtney because she kept a secret about going to school. That has nothing to do with
come on.
You. Yeah. That has nothing to do with any of you. She does not have to tell you anything she doesn't want to tell you. Like, pull the stick out. She should not be comforting you because she chose to keep something private in her own life that has nothing to do with you.
Yeah. Like, she didn't go to jail for 6 months. She got a GED and went to college. Like,
hello.
Yeah, like, it's because you guys are a bunch of turds that she couldn't tell you. Like, so sorry you're
Look
upset.
how you act with when you find out she's a maid.
Don't be a jerk.
Yes, this right here. Boundary issues galore. Yes. I agree.
Yes. So dumb. Okay. So Debbie said, I felt sorry for Rachel because she was the oldest child. Her mom put a lot on her plate when her dad died. Yes. I agree. Yeah. I feel bad for all, like, the mom just sucked. I mean, grief is a thing. Grief is a thing for sure. And I am not here to judge how she acted when her husband died, because Lord knows, who knows how you'd react. But she had 3 girls and she put a lot on Rachel. She ignored Courtney's learning disabilities, all that kind of stuff. And like Courtney was young when the dad died. Like you got to re-engage at some point.
Yeah, absolutely. You gotta, personal, to the maid comments. Yeah, a lot of people saying about the maid comments. I agree. A living is a living.
Yeah.
And like, Sarah, you did that. That's freaking hard work.
Well, believe me, I lasted 2 days. So kudos to anyone who can actually do it, because I couldn't do it.
Absolutely.
That is
a job is a job. A job is a job. It felt kind of classist.
It very much did. No, it very much did.
Yeah.
I think with the mom, it was, especially with her and Rachel, just kind of those, as we get older as women, right? Like there's that expectation. Okay, my parents are getting older, especially I think if you're the oldest kid, you're the one that's got to step up. But like to do that at a young age, I think she did a really good job of exploring this idea of if you put pressure on kids at a young age, that really develops the people that they become. Now Rachel doesn't know how to ask for help, even if it's like physical pain or whatever, she doesn't, because since from a young age her mom's relied so heavily on her. So even though I couldn't stand the mom, I think that and I don't want to say I couldn't stand her, because she did lose her husband, she did what she had to do, but I really did love, even though it was kind of hard to read, the exploration into each relationship with the daughters.
Yeah, I agree.
Because everything isn't all good. Like mother-daughter relationships can be tough. I mean, most of them. Most of the time, I think they are.
Don't tell me that. Don't tell me that. I need to read these mother-daughter stories.
We're doing our best, okay? We're doing our best, right?
I'm going to go watch Gilmore Girls. I'll talk to you later. They love each other.
But I don't think that's the issue. It's just like there's a lot of headbutting. There's a lot of, and for these girls, there's a lot of history that comes into it too, right?
Well, when something tragic happens like that, your life is going to be altered as a mother, as children, all of that kind of stuff. So it was interesting to see how this family adapted to that. And I agree. I mean, I think there's death of a spouse or a whatever is one situation, but there's a lot of different situations where a child is forced to grow up way too early. And so how does that shape their personality? And I think Rachel was a good example of
Agreed.
What they do.
Agreed. Yeah, Debbie, I think the mom was immature, 100%. The mother, every time she was on the page, I'm just like, shut up about your pink swans and your, like, I get that you didn't get to plan your first wedding. Big deal. It seemed like she was trying to be 20 again. It just kind of drove me crazy.
When her daughter over here can't even ask anybody for help because she never really got to even be 20.
Yeah,
well,
exactly.
And, like, Courtney's dealing with all the crises of the wedding and stuff, and it's like you're lucky your daughters are kind to you.
Precisely. But yeah, no. I mean, I liked it.
So, okay, because you do read so much of it, Chloe, like this is your thing, right?
This is your jam.
What do we want to see? Do we want to keep seeing stories like this? Or is it time for us to do, like you said, Sarah, she's going to keep doing what she knows her readers want to read. And I want more sister relationships. I want more friendship relationships, but like, what can we do that's different, but still give our readers what we want?
See, for me, I'm like not really even craving something new and crazy. Like but for me, I'm not the type of reader that sticks like 100% in women's fiction. I have to jump around because they're very similar, but they're very comforting, and each woman's story is slightly different. Like I said, these are all somewhat stereotypical roles that you see quite a lot in women's fiction. And yet, I mean, Rachel was still a little bit different than another woman who fits that same stereotype. And I think if I were to read this book 10 years ago, I would get one thing out of it. If I were to read it now, I would get one thing out of it. If I were to read it in 30 years, I'll get something completely different out of it. Because I think there's elements of all four of the women that I can identify with. And that will change and shift as my life goes on. And so I like it. And the fundamentals of sister stories, mother-daughter relationships, those kind of things, I think you can do a lot with that. But I'm also a minority in loving women's fiction. I know a lot of people are not huge fans.
I love that you love women's fiction.
Our go-to for that.
Thanks.
But yeah, no, it's I'm just trying to think if there's anything else I want to say.
She's your like holy trinity.
She's my holy trinity. So she's an author I'm gonna always read and buy. But I still say, like, for me, I prefer her straight up contemporary romance. Give me the Fool's Gold series, the Heartbreaker, Hometown Heartbreaker series was really good. A lot of her stuff is being republished. She's written tons for Harlequin, tons for Category. I think, and it's funny because, like, I don't know, everything is such a gray area with women's fiction, chick lit, romantic, just romance, straight up romance. But this book to me felt like a contemporary because of the adult content. That's something
I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah.
And it was steamy.
And I mean, and it's not like it's just like, oh, they're gonna start and then go behind. Oh, no. She goes there.
Yeah. Okay, so this is an interesting discussion. I want to know what do you guys in the comments think? Would you say, if you had to choose women's fiction or contemporary romance, what would you call this? Because I would say it's women's fiction because, like, Sienna, I mean, I don't even care who she ended up with. That was stupid. But it was about.
Was she the one with that douchebag that like called her a bitch at the end?
Yes.
Like, stop saying yes to people proposing. You don't have to do that to be kind. Clearly, like, stop saying yes. I mean,
while at the time I was like, oh, what an asshole. I was like, but girl, you did say yes to this man, and like in front of everybody, like, I don't know.
Well, and her character, I thought, was by far the weakest because, like, what's her motivation? Why did she keep saying yes to all these people? Did she genuinely think these were great matches for her? Yeah. Or is she just too polite to say no? Or is she that flighty that she doesn't think things through? Which is not true because she works for like a women's shelter or something. I can't remember exactly what, but like she's clearly like got heart and compassion. She knows what love feels like, I would assume. But I don't know. What was my original point? Oh, so women's fiction, because we're talking about her. Rachel, like, her relationships are just kind of an aside, in my opinion. Rachel also, it was like kind of her discovering some self-worth and some different things about herself. And Courtney too. Like, she's like, I'm going to school. I'm doing what I need to do for me. Screw you. Or what, I mean, I feel like hers was probably the most romantic storyline, maybe. I don't know. There's romance in all of them. And for me, again, I took more of the women's growth out of it than the romance.
And I think it all depends on how you read it, because to me, it felt like every single one of them had to end in some sort of a romance.
Which is true.
Right? So that's why I want to put it more in the romance category as opposed to the women's fiction category. That's just, each to their own, right?
Susan, I do. I love Dare. I just was not expecting this. First of all, I didn't think there was going to be sex in this book at all. I don't know why. Misconception about Susan Mallory. But then how steamy it kind of got there for a minute. I was like, I really wasn't expecting.
Bree's like, oh, this is wonderful. I'm enjoying this.
I wasn't expecting that. It took me by surprise. I thought it was going to be a sweet book.
Yeah.
Okay. I have to say, I think I do feel like it felt more women's fiction, but with romance in it for me too. Because I did feel like once I got into the story, and I really kind of became invested in each sister. I think that's more of what I was like paying attention to. Yeah.
But that just goes to show you how much of a gray area that there is. Like, how can we categorize this stuff? We can't, you know, like.
Well, and Harissa brought up a good point. A lot of different genres are integrating sex right now.
Yep.
I mean, there's people are wanting more steamy books. Thrillers are getting more and more vulgar vulgar is not the right word, but graphic in their sex scenes.
Bring all the steam.
Antonella. On brand.
Yes. Bring all the steam.
Yeah, I mean, I would have been fine regardless. It took me by surprise because I didn't see it come in. I didn't really think that it needed to be in there, but it was there, and I was like, "Oh, I didn't see that coming."
What it was. That's what I felt like. The same. I feel like it could have been taken out, and it wouldn't have changed the story at all.
And Debbie said the same. She had to put it in there.
Yeah, like
whoa.
You know, I mean, you can allude to something, and you can take us right up until, and then just fade to black. I mean, that's fine, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I don't know, Susan Mallory. She can do whatever she wants.
You know, and
we're still
when
reader.
You've been writing that long, you know, you've been writing that long. You've got that kind of a fan base. You really, really can do whatever the heck you want.
I'm glad that we picked this one, or that. Well,
me too. That
everybody picked this one because she's an author that, like, I've read less than a handful of books by, and I'm kind of intimidated. Because I know she has so many books, and I'm like, I don't know where to start, and I don't know. But when I will say, when I was reading this, it felt kind of like Jill Shalvey, and I know that they're like friends.
Yes, yeah,
so,
yeah.
And
there's a lot of similarities between the two. It
felt very Wildstone-ish almost,
which is why I loved it.
Yeah,
I mean,
but
yeah,
it's almost like, I don't want to use the word trope, but it's almost like a trope. Like it's almost like its own brand of women's fiction / romance. It's like they're redefining women's fiction by adding romance in to pull in the romance readers into the genre. Jill Shalvis with the Wildstone, you know, Rand Thane is doing it as well.
Sarah
the one
Morgan
that we just
with everything.
Oh, yeah, Sarah Morgan with all the things. But do you know what I mean? Like, this is definitely, it's almost like it's its own genre of these kind of books.
Too, because even that book, we just buddy read it, right? We didn't read it for book club that we did not like by Sarah Richardson.
We just read
that was the Christmas one from last year.
Yeah, that was kind of this genre too of like women's fiction, romance, and like Jill Shalvis said in our interview with her, of like, she's a romance writer, but she's wanting to give her women more depth, and so she can't really, you know, like, I'm sure there's some marketing involved, but it's also.
And that's what it is. You just hit the nail on the head. It's like, it's these women or these authors who are known primarily for romance. Jill Shalvis, Sarah Morgan, yada, yada, yada. Sarah Richardson as well, that are trying their hand now, but they're it's almost like, okay, I want to go swimming in this pool, but I'm just going to dip my feet in right now and see what my readers think about it, you know, and see whether I can carry it off or not, you know?
Well, I think too, because, and Chloe, you can tell us, like, if this misconception ever makes its way to you, but like, I think women's fiction has this misconception that it has to be sad. And there's a lot, especially like in the KU world of women's fiction, there's a lot of like there's a whole subgenre of women's fiction that focuses on like divorcees and like he cheated and I'm moving to Australia and starting over. And like, I think with like, at least with the authors that we know that are doing it now, it's not so sad necessarily. Like, they're going to touch on topics. Like, this book had tons of issues I think we could talk about, like play by play, but it still wasn't like sad, you know? It wasn't tough to read. And I think there's that misconception that like that's what women's fiction is, and that's why people are like, I don't want to read that. It's like, no, it's huge. There's so many things you could probably pick up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, and I think what I hear the most is it's either sad or boring, because it's just a woman's story, you know, and sometimes it is. I mean, there are those out there, and I do feel like
every genre.
Yeah, I feel like the trope though of a woman restarting her life is something that is overdone in women's fiction for me. And I feel like that.
See, I love that though, Chloe.
So I like it.
There's lots for you to read.
I like it too. I just feel like that one is done a lot.
Yeah.
A lot. And
that's
so
like second chance romance. It's hot right now.
Yes. Yep. Yeah. And just that whole something terrible happened to me. The whole world crapped on me. And now I'm starting over. I feel like that like trope happens a lot. I like it too. I don't mean to say it's not good. I really like it, but I feel like there's a lot of that. And if you're not wanting to see that, then
Chloe, we need a recommendations video now.
Yeah.
Starting over. Recommendation.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, I know. I'm like thinking about packing up these books and I'm like, but I can't do that. I mean, I need to, I don't know what I'll do, but okay. I'll put it on the list.
I feel like, okay, so now that I think about it, because we all like Debbie Maycomber, I think of like the Rose Harbor Inn series, which I love that series so much.
I've got to do it. Yeah.
Every book had a romance, but now that I think about it, it's really Joe's journey. So I'm thinking of it now, like how much of a romance really was it, and how much of it was it like a women's fiction series that followed one woman. She just meets new people in each book.
And that's where the line gets so blurry. You know, like even Cedar Cove, it's like, yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's a blurry line.
But that just goes to show you, could you imagine being an author and being told, you're going to write a women's fiction novel, here's the boundaries you got to stay in? Authors would be like, no, I'm not writing that. Like, that's not what I want to write. I want to write this story. So, you know, the fact that authors are free to do what they want, and so be it if we can't define where it's supposed to go. Was it a good book or was it not a good book at the end of the day? You know what I mean? Like,
well, and in our discussion where we talked about like these classifications and stuff, somebody said something like, I wish they asked the authors, like, what is this to you? And I think that would be interesting to know, like,
agreed.
Mallory, what does she call this book?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my gosh. What was the freaking, okay. So I screenshotted this tweet, right? It said, rom-com used to mean a romance that is lighthearted and funny. For sure. You will laugh. And now I'm pretty sure it means you will not laugh once during this entire book and you'll be bitter about it. Thanks for the reading. The marketing people appreciate your gullibility. And I'm like, that is so true.
That is so true.
The author, okay, what do you consider this book? And go with that. You're the one who wrote it.
Yeah. Right.
But marketing will slap rom-com
whatever the hell they want on it.
And you read it and you're like,
on that baby.
Right. Yep. Yellow cover, rom-com of the season. And we're like, oh, here's my money. And you read it and you're like, I didn't laugh at all in this book. There was like nothing funny about it.
And you see that so much, especially like if you're looking at books on Amazon or on Kindle, and it's like the funniest book you'll read in 2021. And I'm like, challenge accepted. Like,
yeah, right.
So what are y'all's favorites, Susan Mallory, since y'all have read more from her?
Gosh.
Finding Perfect.
What?
The first in the Finding Perfect, the first in the Fool's Gold series.
Okay.
Was it Finding Perfect?
Adding it to my Goodreads.
The guy is a Tour de France bicycle racer, and she is new in town, and it's adorable. I love it. I love it because
the third one.
Is that the third one? No, I want the first one. Chasing Perfect.
Chasing Perfect.
Thank you. Thank you. I always get the first three confused.
Okay, got it. Chasing Perfect, Almost Perfect, and Sister of the Bride is 2.5, and the Finding Perfect is number 3. Okay.
Yeah.
I liked her Mischief Bay series.
Me too.
Yeah, I think that was pretty much a 4-star series. The Happily Inc. series is one all about weddings. And it was good. It was all right. It wasn't my favorite, but
it's a spin-off of the Fool's Gold series.
Oh, is it?
It is.
I haven't read Fool's Gold.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah, it was Chloe, just kind of Mischief Bay just looks like your series.
Mischief Bay was really delightful, to be honest. It was really
I liked
cute.
it too.
So if you like a lot of sisters books,
it's like her niche. It's like her thing.
Yeah. And
Sisters by Choice was good too.
I'm trying to look on Goodreads and see.
Yeah, the Hometown Heartbreakers. I agree. That's the series that she wrote for special edition.
Hometown Heartbreakers.
But they're being republished now with different covers.
Well, let me look it up. Oh my gosh.
Shameless plug for you guys. You could do that as categorically romance. There's a readathon.
Hometown Heartbreakers.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. There's
a ton of them. And she also
The Best Bride.
She also wrote a series called Desert Rogues, and it's sheiks and stuff like that, Brie.
Oh, I love a chic.
Yeah, right. I know you love your
a desert oasis.
There you go.
Completely smitten. Okay, Susan Mallory. Golly, this woman has written some books. This series has come on book 10. Want to read? Jesus. I did not say.
Sarah, have you read Positively Pregnant series?
Oh gosh.
Probably. Back in the day. Probably.
Having her boss's baby, the ladies' man, her last first date.
Painted Moon. Which one is that? What is Painted Moon?
That's her newest. Is it her newest? No, it's Stepsisters is her newest. It's the one that came out just before that. Vineyard at the Painted Moon. I think that one might be more women's fiction than.
No, I didn't read
I feel like most of her newer stuff is more women's fiction.
Agreed. She's moving away from the contemporary, although she did write that new one for Harlequin that you read, Brie, Before Summer Ends.
Before Summer Ends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's an author I'd love to talk to.
They just, like I said, they're getting older, and they want to explore women's stuff. I have the friendship list and I haven't read that one. Have y'all read it?
I haven't read that one yet. No.
Hold on, let me check. I can't even remember.
I always look, Chloe. You usually pop right up at the top for me, and I don't see you, so I don't think you read it.
Okay, I don't think so.
Like I had one of my viewers ask me if I'd read something by Ray and I'm like, no, it's on my TBR. And like the next comment was, yeah, you read it now. And she like linked to my review, and I'm like, okay.
I love when they come through like, yeah, you did.
I'm like, you guys are the best. I don't remember anything.
Isn't her women's fiction publisher also HQN?
It's HQN, yes.
It's just not a category.
It's just not category. That's the difference. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's our theme? Okay, we already have June's pick, which we'll announce. But what was our theme for July and August?
July was beach reads, right?
Yeah. Beach read. Okay.
August was it travel?
YA contemporary something or travel? I'm easy. What do you guys shout it in the comments? What would you guys like to see our theme be for August?
Because we've basically been chatting about the fall, and there's like 2 months in the summer.
Summer's still here.
Sarah, do you want to announce what June's is?
Yes, it is. I just want to make sure I get the author correct. Do we know who it's her first name is Sarah. I can tell you that.
Yeah.
Sarah
Adams.
The Match by Sarah Adams. And just an FYI, it is available on KU. However, if you don't have Kindle Unlimited, the author announced because the book has been out for 1 year, it's free this entire weekend. So go and grab a copy for Kindle.
Cool. I'm going to do that right now.
Yeah. Support the author.
Yeah.
There you go. So you have an actual copy, Brie. Thank you.
You guys, so I was making my TBRs and stuff for June, and I needed the match to win. It fits a lot of prompts for a readathon that I'm doing, and I'm like, shoot, if it doesn't win, I would still read it. But
I was hoping for the Two Lieutenant, but then we're doing the whole readathon in June, and I'm like, well, I'm not reading anything but categories, so July it is.
Yep.
You're on mute, Sweet Pea.
Brie, we can't hear you.
Brie, you're on mute.
Sorry.
I'm like, what are we supposed to be
eliminating? I got to know what you were saying, though. That was very gestural.
If you download the free book, get that audio book for cheap.
Is it available on audio?
There's an audio.
$50.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Amazon? Do you guys want to pick do you guys want to guess who picked what? Antonella says, I knew Sarah picked Tilly.
She's my fish. The book's over there.
So just throwing it out there, y'all. One of
map.
our ideas for the fall is we want to read either, I don't know how we're going to title this, but I really want to read The Valley of the Dolls with Sarah and Chloe. So I was like, let's put it out there as a book club pick. But of course, we want to have 2 other picks. So I don't know what we decided on the other 2 possibilities.
Flowers in the Attic.
Flowers in the Attic, Valley of the Dolls, and I think we're still looking for a
dark.
third.
Were we going with dark bestsellers? Was
dark
the
bestsellers?
Theme?
Yeah.
Yeah, dark bestsellers.
So just be
if
prepared.
Anyone has a suggestion for a
we
third
need one
book,
more.
Yeah.
We threw out ideas like
Gillian Flynn.
Secret. Which one? Yep. Gillian Flynn, The Secret by Donna Tartt. We need one more pick. So give us some suggestions. Hit us up. Let us know.
I was kind of joking when I said guess who picked what, because we have a unique process. Sometimes, like, the goal is always that we all bring one to the table, but that almost never happens.
Yeah.
This for June, it sort of did. Sarah was Tilly, Bree was this one, and I was the other 2 because decisiveness is hard.
Yeah.
But it was hard, though. At first, we were like, single dad, do we know anything?
You guys, and then now, like, as this month has gone on, I'm like, that's a single dad, that's a single dad, that's a single dad. I have read so many, or else have so many on my TBR. But so the theme for June is single dads. Mm-hmm. The theme for July is beach read.
Mm-hmm.
We think August is travel. And then we'll keep you posted from there on. But same as always, we'll put the choices up on Goodreads like soon. Mm-hmm. And then we'll put them on Instagram like a week or 2 before our next live show. And you can vote both places if you want. You can.
Oh, for sure. Please do.
Yeah. And the cool thing about suggestions for themes, give them to us. Like,
please, we're always interested.
Yeah, because we have no plans in stopping Book Sisters anytime. So if we're not going to use it right now, we'll use it. Yeah. We'll put it on the list.
So for September, we were thinking the dark classics or the dark bestsellers, but I know that September is actually our 1 year. So we could push the dark classics or bestsellers to October. Maybe in September, we can do something for the 1 year. Like just one of our, like just a book that each one of us really wants to read. There's no theme to it.
Or, well, I don't know how we feel about rereading, but we could say your best book of the past year. Like, what was your favorite, Sarah? We can make everybody read that, and mine and Bree's. But
I'm not rereading Verity, so forget about it. It's not happening.
Oh, I love cozy as a theme.
I do too.
I want to say cozy
too.
Mystery. We haven't had a cozy mystery yet.
No, we need to do that. We need to do that too. Yeah,
Yeah.
So we're thinking for the beach theme, we're going to be doing what? Classic beach read authors like Mary Kay Andrews. Who else?
That one, let's try to all bring one to the table, and we can let everybody guess in July.
Yeah. Because y'all, for real, there have been months. I think this was a month where I was like, I don't know, guys. I'll just go with whatever gets fit. I have no idea. What is that one, Christy? There's a book floating around right now that's very like beach read looking that I want. Christy, I don't know. Golly, I don't even have my phone with me. Chloe, I honestly figured that you had probably at least had it. It looks women's fiction-y. It has like a beach cover on it. That could be one that we have. I'll find it. Something with under the southern something. I don't know. I don't know where my phone is. There.
Under the Southern Sky by Christy Woodson Harvey.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, I haven't read that because that author's done me dirty.
Ooh, okay, never mind.
There's a theme.
There's
right. Dirty.
Authors that have done us dirty.
Second chance.
Yeah. I've seen a couple people do that video lately, like giving authors
another chance.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jill Chavez does have another book coming out. I have it.
Hey, I do too. Look, I just
Isn't it
I
gorgeous?
have it on ebook.
Isn't it
No,
gorgeous?
I don't have it on ebook. That's one I didn't get because she doesn't love me.
I thought we were friends, Jill.
Yeah, right? Talk about authors that do you dirty.
Right?
So maybe we should do Cozy as our 1-year celebration.
Or
Yes.
Cozy could be December. And we could do
Yeah.
Christmas cozies.
Ooh, yeah. Sarah Morgan's got a new one out.
Christmas
Of course
cozies?
she does. Of course she does.
She got a new Christmas one coming out.
Yeah, she does every year, doesn't she?
She does.
Hmm.
She's my favorite.
I've got a lot of good beach reads on my shelf.
Yeah.
I mean, Mary Kay Andrews is like the queen of beach reads, but for real, y'all, her books are
Hers are so
long.
I got one to read next month.
They're so long. And they're like, I don't think I really like the whole like just shit show of genres that she does. Like,
Talk
it's
about
like-
having like your own genre. Mary Kay Andrews is her own
yeah,
genre.
like, let's just throw a bunch of junk in a pot and call it Mary Kay Andrews.
Does a beach read have to be set at a beach? I don't even think most of the time they are set at the beach. Like people take thrillers and call it a beach read.
Reading thrillers at the beach or by the pool or, outside.
You know, my favorite beach read is James Patterson because his chapters are so short.
Yes.
And they're just such like, I don't know, like they're potato chip thrillers or mysteries or detective novels. Like they just can't stop.
So the new Sarah Morgan for Christmas is called The Christmas Escape, and it takes place in Lapland. Sign me up. It's it's like where the Northern Lights are, like Norway or something like that. Like there's reindeers and things. I'm intrigued.
Sarah Morgan coming through for us.
All right, I'll just be pre-ordering that one. Probably in the UK edition, which is what I did for her new one, The Summer Seekers.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sarah Morgan's Harlequin Presents books are fantastic. Winter theme for November.
Aaron suggested Peyton Place for Dark Sellers. Isn't that a dude that wrote it though? Aaron, is that right? I remember looking at that, but I think it's a dude that wrote it.
Yeah.
Which Peyton I mean, maybe someday, but not today, dudes.
Did we suggest that? Were we saying that for next year, like for next July, to do books written by guys?
Yeah, we did say it.
Yeah.
Just once we'll like slide in a mail off because we were talking about these books that we for like the Valley of the Dolls. We were talking about the Virgin Suicides, which I've read and I've loved, and I was like, well, we could definitely read this for the podcast, but it's definitely written by Jeffrey Eugenides or whatever you say. I'm like, yeah, I think just 1 month maybe we could have like some male author pick because I would love to talk about that one with you too.
Well,
Mary Alice Monroe, yes.
I want to read this one. This is obviously a dude, but have any of you guys read this? Because I got it and I had never heard of it, but this is the 20th anniversary edition. I don't know when it was originally published, but anyway, this is about a woman who she's a midwife and she goes to deliver like this baby, and the mother is like dead from a stroke, and so she does like an emergency C-section to get the baby out, and then everybody comes back on her and says the mom wasn't actually dead, that she killed her by doing the C-section.
Wow.
Ooh, that sounds interesting.
It sounds so good. So good.
When did you get that, Chloe? Have you had it forever?
No, I just got it. It's in this month's In and Out. Spoiler alert.
Spoiler. I love the in and outs because you can gradually see the pile growing up in front of you.
Are you kidding? Oh, see, I'm not going to say anything because that drives me crazy.
What?
How is that ebook copy $13?
For what?
$13.99 for that on Kindle.
Are you kidding?
No, that's annoying. Hello, Toronto Public Library.
Fiona, I'll give you $1 if you can tell me how to pronounce his name. She said she hasn't read that one, but she's read The Secrets of Eden by Chris Bohalian.
I think you're right, Bohalian. Maybe the J is silent. I don't know.
Okay.
Grace Metalius wrote Peyton Place.
Okay.
Ah,
Maybe that's a good one.
we'll have to look.
Maybe that's a good one.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Bo Jalian or Bo Halian? Bo Hallian? Yeah, I got this one. My mom gave me this one, and I got on Goodreads and saw a bunch of people had read it. So I don't know. And it's textured, like these are raised letters, and I like that.
Ooh.
I don't smell my books, but I do fondle them.
Yeah.
I don't smell them either.
Like those buttery soft covers, you know,
Oh
the
my
ones that,
God.
it's my favorite thing ever.
I got one the other day, and I'm like, girls, come feel this. It's awesome. And Ainsley starts like rubbing it on her face. That's my kid.
She's
Yep.
such a book lover.
I
She
love it.
is.
I love it.
He is.
Well, I can't wait for next month's pick, next month's read.
So next month we're going to be on Chloe's channel.
Potentially, Sarah, I may not have a house. So, well, I don't know.
Chloe's coming to us from her car.
Yeah, right. Like
Van
where in
life.
the world is
Yeah,
Chloe's
van life.
studio? But yes, assuming we are still here, it may not be pretty, but June
That's okay.
26th.
Is it June
Okay.
26th? Okay, that was going to be my question. All right. If it'll be on mine or Chloe's channel, one or the other. Probably Chloe's though, but
Yeah.
if push comes to shove,
So
we're
get
good.
the book, you guys. It's already on KU, but it is free this weekend.
And download it and get the Audible
Audio.
edition for
yeah, for cheap. I'm about to go do that now.
Mhm.
Yep.
For
There
sure.
we go. Well, thank you guys.
Thank you guys so much.
Always feel free. We're not as active as we want to be on Instagram, but always feel free to message us if you have any ideas for books or themes that you want to see. Because part of the reason we started this is because we want it to be not just us leading the show. So
Agreed.
if you guys ever want to give your input that way, I think all three of us check the Instagram. We just don't upload as much as
maybe what we could do is we could do a little graphic, nail down the next 3 months. Like we already have June, so like July, August, September. Do a little graphic up saying what the themes are and put it on Instagram and ask for recommendations.
Yeah.
Give some suggestions.
Or maybe I think that would be a good thing to do since we kind of have July, August, September. Maybe I can't remember, but we could do that at the beginning of the year. Just let everybody fresh start.
Even if it's
That's
just
a good
book
idea.
that, if it's a book like with the Valley of the Dolls, I'm like, we're probably gonna rip this book to shreds because we're reading it as 2021 women and it was written in like the 70s or whatever.
60s.
But I'm just, the 60s. I'm like, I want to read this with Chloe and Sarah and all the book sisters because I feel like we could have a lot to talk about. So if y'all have a book like that you feel like could be a good discussion, recommend it to us.
And
tell us
and
the title.
And what we were saying is we don't want this to seem like we're picking books to purposely bash. That's not the point. These were bestsellers for a reason. We want to see what that reason was, Yeah.
Yeah. And I think the three of us all have very unique perspectives or like different from each other. So kind of testing out some of these classics will be kind of fun.
It'll be fun.
Yay.
Okay.
I mean, I did try to slide Bridget Jones's Diary in there and it didn't work. So
it's not really dark.
Yeah.
Chick lit classics. It didn't work. It didn't live.
Sophie got your back though, Bree. Sophie got your back.
I know. Chick lit-a-thon coming through. We
got you. We got you. Okay. Well,
all right.
Thanks everyone.
Thanks for hanging out, everybody.
Talk
to you later. Bye.
Bye.